good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And with that, I also continue to pray that folks will wake up to some of this stupidity that's going on. Me and millions of other people who have COPD get to use one of these things. Hey, Chloe, am I oriented right? I'm going to use it right now because it's the end of my medication time, you see. So you squeeze this little thing here and you put your little mouthy on this thing here and you press on this thing right here and you breathe in as you push the button. Now, my dear friends, do you see this? Okay. Now, unless people went around just squeezing this thing out into the atmosphere, where does this device go? It should go up some folks' rear heinies there because they're so stupid. You put this end in your mouth like so. I'm going to demonstrate. Now I have to take this twice a day. Did somehow any of this aerosolized stuff escape into the atmosphere? At any point in time, did I like just squeeze this? No. Where did it go? Into my lungs. Well, most of that one went on my tongue, but you know, I have to do two for one. Help clear up this. Okay, CNN. Okay, to whoever the dumbasses that came up with the idea that somehow inhalers, these items right here, which you just watched me put it into my mouth and dispense of it. These things are really expensive, I found out. I wish that I had the money. Of course, if I did what I'm talking about doing, they would not give me another one because the pharmacy wouldn't allow it. But I'd like to just do a video and just go around and just squirt this thing everywhere. Just squirt, 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 squirt. I'm ruining the atmosphere. Squirt, 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 squirt. CNN, watch me now. Squirt, 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 squirt. For the life of me. For the life of me. Where do they come up with this stuff? I'm 73 years old now. Um, on the 24th of September, I turned a new leaf. And I think to myself, what have I seen, watched, and done in them 73 years? And I've watched people get dumb as hell. I mean, I'm talking stupid. I'm talking about, can we talk here? Dumber than a box of rocks. You know, there are people who, on the outside, you look at them and you go, that person looks intelligent. They do. They look, and that person, the guy is a little handsome. He's not ugly. He's not oogly or yougly. But hi, how are you today? In his nice, prim and proper attire. I'm fine. How are you? Hi, how are you today? I'm fine. And you? Hi, I'm fine. And you? And I'm like, that's as much of a conversation they can have. Or they go off on some kind of tangent that, you know, for me being an old person, I look at them and go, are you sure about that? Because some of these folks will declare that they know history. And like a dumbass, they will try to quiz me. you know, like, them people back in the 1960s now, them folks back there and the riots and the MLK and the JFK and the RFK and all that stuff and that didn't really happen. But what? Oh yeah, the JFK thing. That limousine that 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 bullet it went through JFK and they found it on the on where the door closes there in the car. Yeah. And nobody else was injured during the commission of that felony. Well, you should ask John Connally that because he was sitting in the middle seat of the limousine. There weren't no middle seat in the limousine at the JFK assassination. There was. So something as simple as the JFK assassination. Did you watch any of the video at all? Or just that little clip, Did you notice that John Connally was shot because he was in the middle seat right in front of John Kennedy? Did oh, but wait a minute. You're a new Jenner person. You weren't born in the last 25 years. So since the turn of this new century, you're yeah, I'm fixing the light. I'll smoke one. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll smoke this with you. And so, these folks. Oh no, that's not what really happened. Now they want to argue with a 73-year-old man who watched it on television live and in black and white back in them days. And for the next 5 days, there was nothing else on a television or a radio anywhere that wasn't playing something about the assassination. So now that's just one thing. And it happens to be one of the things that these young folk, and there's some folks who are 45, 50 years old, they don't know this stuff. And they try to argue with me about things. Tinky? Okay. For example, I remember when there was a hillbilly, they used to go, Yahoo! Mountain Dew. It was in a bottle. I have an original green Mountain Dew bottle. And those green Mountain Dew bottles, what was in them was pure Mountain Dew. What they put in the cans is not the same. And I have tested Mountain Dews across the United States. And the West Coast, their Mountain Dew is horrible. It tastes like sage. And when I was out there, people say, Dave, you're crazy. Okay. But when you're riding through South Dakota, even with the window up, you can smell the sage. I could. Everybody else was like, I don't smell nothing. But I'm sensitive to stuff. And after a couple of days, it was lesser, you know. But got to the West Coast, and I could not find a soda pop, can or a bottle that tasted like what it tastes like on the East Coast. Oh, it tastes the same. No, it don't. It's the water. There are minerals in the water out west, and it makes Mountain Dew taste different. You go further north and up in Ohio, and the Mountain Dew tastes different. Down here in the South Georgia and Florida, I've gone down to Tampa and gotten a Mountain Dew, and it not taste the same. So, where am I going with this? Because people in their brains go, it all tastes the same everywhere. It's just in your head. You're just a crazy one. Okay. I know I am. And I'm excited about that I'm the crazy one. Or one of them. But the fact that, wait a minute, just like my inhaler is going to somehow ruin the atmosphere is just dumb. But that they can't accept the fact that regional canneries for soda pops use the local water. And so if the local water has a certain flavor to it, that's going to cause the drink to taste differently. Now, I've had other folks, Dave, you're just crazy. Now, why am I bringing up the flavor of Mountain Dews across the United States? I didn't make it to Canada, so wait a minute. Yes, I did make it to Canada, but on a separate trip. And I got them in a bottle, and there was the Canadian Mountain Dews tasted different also. But why am I bringing this up? It's because they can want to convince you that it all tastes the same. It's a Mountain Dew. Whispering Winds. Oh, hello. How are you? They want to convince us that that it's the same. Well, I'm sorry, but this is Mountain Dew from down here in the South. Okay. I'm not sure where it was bought. Wait, whoa. Let's find out. Does it say here where it was bottled? Some of y'all know that I've had my eyes worked on, and I'm not so sure I should have just left them alone. But I think that's North Carolina. It says so. This is North Carolina Mountain Dew, but yeah, I found it to be interesting that Mountain Dew tasted different in different states across the United. I mean, all the way to the West Coast and down and back. I couldn't wait to get back to Alabama to get a damn Mountain Dew that tasted right. Um, and even an Alabama one was not quite the same, but close. So, and I attribute that to the water. So, why am I bringing this up? It's because the folks out yonder are trying to convince us that inhalers now are the bane, the bean, barn, the boo, can't, the bane, that's the word. The bane for climate change now. And that everybody that has asthma or COPD, which asthma is a part of COPD, and I've found out that yes, I have it. Um, we inhale it into our mouth and and bring it into our lungs to help with our breathing. How can an inhaler, therefore, um, create any kind of external thing? So that's just dumb right there. Like, what? But so who came up with it? Somebody came up with the idea. Just like, oh, there was no middle seat in the limousine when John Kennedy got shot. No, there was just the front seat and the back seat. No, there were no three seats in that limousine. Okay. And inhalers are are gonna crash the ozone layer. Have you heard about the ozone layer lately, by the way? They don't talk about it anymore because it's been about 20 years ago now that we had a big solar storm that came by the earth and just took took it right off. the just snatched it right off the earth. No more ozone layer or very little. So them folks out there who are putting out the propaganda, and you know who they are, it ain't me. I'm trying to keep folks from jumping off the edge. Like, what's going on here? How come you are so upset? And how, for example, the inhaler, I want to defend the the young mother who's 27 years old. She's got a child that's 5 or 6 who has asthma, who has to use a puffer. She may have asthma as well, depending on where she lives and how she grew up, and she may have COPD herself. So what's recommended? Well, these inhalers and other breathing treatments. And so that's the standard to help folks like me with COPD to breathe, right? So, but now there are folks out there who don't know what it is. Oh, you're going to have to get rid of those inhalers, Why? Well, CNN said, that inhalers were contributing to, our atmosphere, Yeah, I still have my hospital stuff on. My doctor asked me, let's see, this is Sunday now. I went and saw her Wednesday, and she goes, "Why do you still have all this on your wrist?" And I said, "Because I'm still, um, I'm still at risk for being dizzy and falling, and if I do, I want somebody to be able to tell who I am and see this big yellow thing. I'm at a risk for falling. Please help me get back up if I do." So you look out there and there are folks trying to make you believe all kinds of stuff that just ain't true, you know? Um, the AI is going to come out of the computer and munch on you. Now, I just saw a computer programmer and a computer tech person on the internet who says the new Microsoft updates now have AI attached to the Microsoft Office suite thing in general. So it knows what it knows. So you don't have the opportunity for me, like if I want to use AI, I would want to go out and look for it. Now it's on this computer because this computer has Windows, and because Windows just updated, Windows now has AI in its programming. Oh, well, just ask it right here. And well, wait a minute. No, I didn't. I have not used Chat GPT, whatever's. I've not used any of the AI stuff yet. I've just been listening to other people, listening to the reports about that folks are putting stuff in there and asking questions. And there are dumbasses who accept the answers that come out of AI. And then there are folks like Cliff High, who've been programming since programming started, who says that, he runs different scenarios and you might run 5 scenarios. Now, I'm not quoting him. I'm just saying this is an example. You could run 5 scenarios through AI, and the AI would give you 5 different answers based on how you phrase the question, okay? And that those 5 answers could vary drastically. And if you didn't know any better, you would accept one of them as being the gospel truth. And that would not be true. So, but they're trying to tell you that, the AI now is smart. It's smarter than the rest of it, and smarter than you, smarter than me, supposedly. But now, if you ask it a question, a hypothetical, You could look at the hypothetical and go, wait a minute, that hypothetical ain't quite right. And the reason is because the AI system has to have the information loaded into it. So AI has to have libraries loaded into it. I'm ready to. Oh, absolutely. What time is it? Oh, it's 10 till. Doesn't matter. Yeah. I've been waiting on you. So if you have not listened to Cliff High and you're worried about AI, you should listen to Cliff High. Him being one of those programmer people that have been around for a long, long time. So robots are going to take over the world if we build enough of them. If we're stupid enough to build, if we're stupid enough as a society to build thinking robots and turn them loose, we as a collective are the dumbasses. And we deserve whatever we get. And I would say to make sure that you have a firearm and always aim for the head. Don't aim for the body. The same thing with a zombie. Hit him in the head. Anyway. So robots are going to take over the world. Not as long as I can hit them in the head. Might take 2 or 3 shots, but I don't want to care about any of. Oh, you can't see. Let me see about this. Don't hitting them in the chest and all that kind of stuff. Never mind. So I don't know if CNN has retracted their statement about inhalers. Okay. But I heard it the other day and I said, this cannot be true. No. They didn't say that, did? Oh, yeah, they did. And I heard a couple other folks who repeated it, like, this is what they said. Can you believe it? Well, listen to what some of these Democrats are saying. There's a bill that was passed by the House of Representatives, the federal government House of Representatives, and they sent it over to the Senate, and they said, here, there are all of us representatives. There's a bunch of folks that voted against it, but it passed, and we brought it up the hill. You're smoking too. Oh, good. Let me light this thing. Well, let me take it up the hill and hand it off to the Senate, and it's just a continuation. The bill says we're just going to keep going the way we are until we can come up with a better budget. Period. That's all. For a couple of months, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and that's all. No. Democrats can't do that. But it's Trump's fault. It's your fault. It's his fault. No, what about that Chuck Schumer guy? That Democrat crazy head, he needs to smoke a bowl. I, for those of you who are pointing at me to your device, I'm doing my best to try to give up smoking. Okay. I've been smoking a half a pack of cigarettes for quite a while now, years. I've been smoking out of a pipe for years. Instead, I had to smoke in a joint and keep smoking. And, in the room filled with it, I'd take a hit, let it go out. I'd do my business, wait a few minutes, take another hit. So I have been mellow with my smoking. Yes, I know I have a heart condition. And yes, after 63 years, 55 years, I'm going to back it up. 55 years of smoking this and smoking my pipe with tobacco in it. And I told the doctor on Wednesday, I said, you just don't understand. I'm on the patch. X, what you doing? Have smoke one with us. I'm on the patch, hadn't done a bit of good. Not a bit of good. Because when it comes time for me wanting a cigarette, I have been walking around. I mowed a lot of yard today. I got a lot done. Today was a good day. The best day I've had since 2 weeks before going in the hospital. Okay. And so, I got out on the 27th of September or the 28th, late the 27th. So, it's the 11th, 12th. So 15 days since I got out. And today was the first day that I have actually felt decent. Not great, but decent. I'm not complaining. It's just that, you got to take your meds. I have to use my inhaler, so I can breathe. I have to be careful with what I smoke. But then I hear about these folks who are like, inhalers are good at, inhalers are worse than HAARP. I watched the thing about HAARP yesterday, and I was like, yeah, they say, oh, it was on the Y-Files, actually. It was one of his year or two about it. Very interesting. I like the Y-Files. And Chucklefish, that's not his name, but the fish, the goldfish fish, yeah. That was a good one. Over the many months and years that I've been smoking, when I get some, about once a month, I never smoke a Z. Like I used to smoke an ounce a week back in the day. Yeah, I don't smoke that much in a month. Even with sharing with some folks, I still don't smoke that much in a month. So over the months and years, I have the tailings and what I call the tiddly bits at the bottom of the bag, And so you get done, you get done, you get done, you get done, and there's a little bit down there. So I hate to open up the bag, So I have dumped them into empty medicine bottles like this one. And so I, what? I think you're a grown man and what? You ain't talking about me, are you? I have, X says I have a heart condition too. What I need my cigarettes, my last vice, and it calms my nerves. You know, X, that's exactly what 3 weeks ago I was having a really bad time. And my blood pressure was sky high. It's what led me to the hospital. See, I'm still wearing my hospital identification and my, my at risk here, falling at risk. Um, and I had done all the things that I knew I was supposed to do, right? I was sitting here in the chair this way though, and I'm hanging on to the armchair here, and I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, here we go again. And I mean, my heart hurt real bad, my chest. Um, my breathing was 85. I'm if I'm above if I'm above 65, my pulse is too fast. Okay. And it's been that way for 50 years because of my meditation and so forth. And, and Doc says that's real good. So when my pulse rate got to 85 and pushing 90, I was like, this ain't good. My BP was 215 over 108, which is high, high. When I told that to the doctor, they was like, well, how come you didn't come to the hospital? And I'm like, duh. Do you see me sitting here on this bed? Yeah, I'm here, you know. So, but to your point, X, I was like, looked at my cigarettes, which are sitting right there, and heart racing. I got my blood pressure cuff on. I'm praying to Jesus, and I'm serious. I'm like, come on now, help me out here. Let me bring my stuff down, and I could not bring my pulse rate down for nothing. And I can usually drop it right away. In fact, I even showed the doctor in the emergency room that Monday. Um, Actually, it was Tuesday. I went in on Monday, and it was Tuesday morning. And well, you can't regulate your. And they had me on the machine, and every so many minutes it would, puff up and do it on its own. And and then I said, "Watch this," and I showed him how I could bring my pulse rate down. And he looked up at the thing and went, "I'll be damned. You can do it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, everybody can do it." So anyway, we had a discussion. Me, this old crusty old man with a look how long my beard's getting. Um, Trying to tell the doctors that, listen, man, meditation, you can do a lot of stuff to help control your body with meditation. And my situation was so bad the night before I went into the emergency room, I could not control any of it, and I'm normally can. So he was like, well, here, just take your meds but I was like, but I don't like to lose control. And the pain, it really hurt. So what did you do? I said, I sat back and grabbed my pack of cigarettes and I lit one up. He said, you did what? I said it was the only damn thing I knew that could calm me down. And I grabbed a cigarette and smoked it. You know, "I- you what?" And I was like, "Yeah," and it brought everything down. Not a lot, but it brought it down. Brought my pulse rate down to like 70 instead of 85. That's good. And I was able to calm myself, which was important to me. So, but there are folks out there, intelligent people, and you look at them and you go, th- "Yeah, I'll watch this. I'll prove it to you," and then they still go, "Well, that's just you. You know, nobody else can do that kind of stuff." You're a medical doctor. You have not heard of any of this shit before, and you want to come in here and tell me, "Well, you can't do that. That breathing exercises. There's no big take." I'm like, okay, what's that got to do with CNN and my puffer? What's that got to do with Mountain Dew tasting different in different states? I think it was Teresa. Um, the and if you've moved to Reno and you're listening to this, hi girl. I hope it's doing okay. You should call me and let me know how things are going. But we were discussing the fact that no matter where you go now, all the strip malls look the same. All the Hardee's look the same. All the Pizza Huts look the same. All the little strip malls, no matter if down in Tampa, when I went down for my brother and to pick up the Jeep, I was like, there were times that I could look out the window and see a strip mall and swear I was in North Florida or in around Thomasville and such. Up here, meaning. Look the same. Everything looks the same. And now up in Dahlonega, Georgia, city council passed a law that said we ain't going to do that shit because I'm sorry, Dahlonega, Helen, and they're nearby. But Helen, because it looks like a Swiss town, everything has to have some type of German, Swiss kind of look to it, an Alpine theme, right? Not none of this other stuff. And so they've stuck to it. And that's why a lot of people like to go up there because everything looks different, you know? It's all got the same motif, it's all Swiss style stuff, but it's different. And it has to be approved by the city council, which, okie doke. But all these other strip malls and stuff, when I went up to Ohio and me and my sister, going through Kentucky, I've been through Tennessee, so I was kind of used to that. But I'm thinking, the farther north I go, some of the, strip malls and stuff should change, right? Nah. If anything, they look more alike than the new strip malls that are being built down here. Um, and there a couple of these small towns, there's a lot of business going on down here. Don't know what's up. Um, but going down 19 to um through Florida, all the little, through Chiefland and Cross City, and everything looks the same. If you didn't know where you were, literally, if you didn't know what town you were in, you could teleport your brain to think that, well, I'm in Moultrie, Georgia, because that strip mall in Bradenton, Florida, looks exactly like the one back home. So if I were drunk, high, or otherwise, I could look at the strip mall and go, oh my God, oh, how did I get back home? Who built this thing to look just like the one that's back up, same kind of stores, same kind of layout. I mean, you just go, it's creepy. So what's my point in this? My point of this discussion is they're trying to talk you into that, oh yeah, those puffer things going to annihilate our atmosphere. But they're called inhalers, where you inhale the medicine into your lungs. We don't exhale it to the universe. No, it sticks in our lungs and helps us to breathe and allows me to take a hit or two or three without blowing my head off, right? So there are idiots abound. And you say, well, Dave, now this is a discussion for Hawkeye. Hawkeye. Uh-huh. What? You want what? Let me wake up here. Let Hawkeye wake up a minute here. Let him wake up here a minute. What do you think about this shit, Hawkeye? Let me tell you something. The next thing they're going to try to do is convince you that their shit don't stink. Yours does, but theirs don't. Well, Dave, what do you mean by that, Hawkeye? Well, their shit don't stink. And so, let them shut down the government. How come they won't go and sign what all the House of Representatives done passed? What half of the Senate has done passed. So there's just a few assholes that are holding out. So all these other people are suffering, but they're convincing you that it's my fault. Because I use an inhaler. Oh my God, I use an inhaler. And you should see when I use I have my albuterol, and I'm trying to think of the little machine down here on the floor. It turns that juice into fumes clouds of stuff that I can breathe in. And what escapes is like, you think one of those things are bad? What about so all the people who have COPD, which is a lot of folks, because COPD, it's chronic pulmonary breathing, it entails your lungs, it entails your heart, it entails your pulmonary system, which is your heart, but the pulmonary meaning, all the arteries and the veins and stuff got to be clear. That's why they put a stent in my heart, because there was a blockage. And I do feel better. Today was the first day in 15 days out of the hospital that I felt like something. So cheers for that, right? There, what? Then so be it. I'm proud of you, what? For how much you lowered your habit. Yeah. Anything that you can do to lower your habit. Um, so I was proud of myself today. I grabbed my cigarettes, I opened it up, and I pulled one out, and I said, I really want a cigarette. I haven't had one in a couple of hours. I've had my meds. I'm sitting here, and I'd done something. I'd been outside mowing, and I wanted a cigarette. Opened up the pack, and I put it in my mouth and took it out and said, nope. This is going to be one time. I'm going to put it back in there. But I looked at that cigarette and said, but I'm going to come get you in about 20 minutes. So shame on me. It was 20 minutes later, I grabbed that puppy out of the pack and I smoked it. And I thought about it again when I smoked it. Now, this is not a really good way to look at it. If they fixed that spot with a stent, and they did because I saw it, then I ought to be able to smoke I should be able to keep smoking for the next 15 years. What? Well, if they fixed it, and they didn't find anything, any blockage in my pulmonary system, well, then I can just keep right on smoking. Because everything they fixed and cleared it up, and that ain't the way to look at it. But the way I look at it now is that I'm very conscious of it. Yeah, there are times when I'll be watching something or doing something and was watching a movie. And I smoked a cigarette at the beginning of the movie, and I had something to drink, and I'm sitting here and I'm getting stoned and I'm watching it, and then time goes by and I don't know how much time has gone by. So, I picked up a cigarette, getting ready to light it, and but wait a minute. How long have I been watching the movie? Do I need this cigarette? Do I really want it? Contemplation over the lighting of the cigarette, right? But the biggest thing, for me is that I'm arguing with myself. Dave, you still got your hospital band on now. Yeah, I know. Dave, what? You still got your hospital band on. Yeah, I know. And you still want to light a cigarette? Yeah. After 60 years of smoking, because I'm 73 and started picking up cigarettes out of the curb and on the side of the road. People throw, half butts out at church and in the parking lot and stuff. Folks that have a couple of drags and throw their butts out on the ground, and we'd collect them, and us kids would smoke them. We'd steal cigarettes from our parents, which they would know we stole them because they'd go, Arnie, did you smoke some of my cigarettes? And he'd go, no, I've got my own pack. And then it's like, us kids would look at each other and go, oh, there's whiskey missing out of the whiskey bottle too, by the way. Oh boy. So by the time they found out how much whiskey was missing out of the whiskey bottles, Pop wasn't a big drinker, but they liked to do a mixed drink. And like on the weekend, maybe Friday, Saturday night, he'd have a toddy. Drink a beer, okay, but still on the weekend or something, he was not much of a drinker. But he had different flavors under the counter. Now, as young people, we didn't necessarily understand it. You take a little bit out, and you replace it. Put a little pencil mark on the bottle so you know what you took. And that after a while, that water is going to water down the whiskey, right? And so we'd take some one weekend, and it might be 2 or 3 weekends before we could sneak any whiskey back out of the bottles, right? So, we're gonna go get some more. How much whiskey can I don't know. Which one did we take last time? I don't know. You still got the pencil? We didn't have markers back then, so we're using a pencil, number 2, And there's our mark on the bottle, and we'd get them out and look at them all, and we'd take a little bit of this one, and then we'd take that much water and pour it back in, and we'd go to the next bottle, and we'd take a little. We mixed all the whiskeys together, just to have whiskey, and then we mix it with a mixer, and then we got drunk as fudge. So but it got to the point where I started realizing that I was being a dumbass. That we had taken so much whiskey out of the bottle after these weekends that we had. We're staying home at the house, just getting drunk and smoking cigars. Nothing like an angry stepmother who wakes you up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. David, what is this? What's what? Now, I've been puking because of the whiskey, and I've been smoking great big King Edward cigars, the big brutal ones, this big around. What is this? And of course, being a dumbass and being drunk, we put the cigars out and threw them in a tiny little wastebasket in their bathroom that had a toilet and a sink. And the fact that the whole place stunk like King Edward's cigars, anyway, it was like, so you're going to smoke the rest of this cigar. Now, it came out of the garbage and stuck in our mouth with a match. And here, you're going to go outside, you're going to sit on the front porch, and I'm going to watch you smoke that cigar. Okay. 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd been up to like 4 because they'd been out, playing cards. Got drunk on the whiskey, threw up ugly stuff. And now I'm sitting there smoking a huge, King Edward cigar turning green. Green. Oh, Lord. So you learn them kind of lessons that she didn't know, I don't think, because it took them a little while longer when it came time for Christmas time. And Pops was holding up the bottle going, that whiskey is sure is light. What? We'd poured so much water into the Jack Daniels that it looked like tea. So, what's this got to do with inhalers and things? Well, we had convinced ourselves that we could steal a little of this and nobody would know. So, Dave, but yeah, we were teenagers stealing whiskey out of whiskey bottles as young teenagers trying to learn what it was all about and trying to be grown up and, trying to learn how to, puke and get the dry heaves at a young age, 13, good age, Prince Albert and Cold Duck. Hey, John, how you doing? Oh, Cold Duck. The Cold Duck was for them refined people. Were you refined? Are you still refined? It was Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill. Lord have mercy. Whew, doggies. And there were a lot of winos around. And, back in the day, you could get a bottle of Boone's Farm for like $2, chilled, you know. And so you'd give the, usually it was a black guy, but not always. Here, mister, we'll give you $5. You buy us a bottle of wine and you get you one. And so they'd stagger in there. Thunderbird, Mad Dog 20 MD 2020. I mean this in the bestest respects. Them Negro men down there, and it was a neighborhood. It wasn't the quarters or anything. It was a mixed neighborhood, but several streets were predominantly black back in the day. And some of them old black men, the way they'd stagger, they had practice. And there'd be a bottle of MD 2020 sticking up out of the top of their pocket. Now, which was interesting because when I moved up here to South Georgia in 73, I found out that the old black men still up here still had bottles of MD 2020 in their back pocket, and got drunk on that, When I traveled around with the carnival, we had I still can't remember his name, but every time we went into it, he was a black gentleman that worked the octopus, and he'd worked it several years in a row. And Miss Iveen liked him, and he worked well. Nobody ever had a fight. He was always cordial. We never thought of him as being a black man. And this was like in 1966. We had a black man traveling with a mostly white carnival group, and people were like, "What do you got that N-word working for you?" Because he's good and we like him, And being 13 and having a little bit of pocket change, every time we went into a small town, he would say, come on, Mr. Dave. Come on, Mr. Dave. Let's go to the juke joint. You got any monies? Come on, let's go to the juke joint. And every town, he knew where to go down a street, down another street, go between two houses and down a little trail, and in behind somewhere there was a juke joint. And we'd play pool. There was always a pool table. Now, a lot of times it was the little pool table, but they always had a cooler running, and they always had Boone's Farm at the time. Mad Dog 2020. They'd sell a few beers, but wine was mostly what the juke joints had. And so you just go in there and buy you a pint and sit and drink, listen to music, play some pool. And here's this skinny little old white boy in amongst all them grown up Negro men drinking Mad Dog 2020, and me over there in the corner drinking my Strawberry Hill. But Boone's Farm. So over the years, there are folks that try to convince you, that this is good for you and that ain't. And one of the things that at 73, I look back and go, all these people have told me, well, you need to take these supplements. They help you live longer. Well, at 73, how much longer do, but these folks are 30. So, all right. Blue-green algae was a big deal back in the day. Good friend of mine sold it, did this thing, and he was always happy and healthy and everything. And I haven't seen him in years. But don't know if he died or if he's still alive. He lived up there in North Georgia, up in the mountains, foothill mountains, but up good elevation. Actually, he lived very near, like within 5 miles of the Georgia Guidestones. Honest to God. You'd go to the Georgia Guidestones and then keep going down the country road towards the Broad River. But anyway, but I couldn't tell if he was any healthier than me. Him being born 2 days before me. He was born on the 22nd, and I was born on the 24th. Richard, hello, hello, hello. I'm looking great. Well, thank you. It's the first day I've felt good 15 days out of the hospital. So if you just got here, that's the short of the catch up. But I got to turn. Yeah, buddy. Ooh, wee. How much is, I forgot to plug this thing in. I think it's got enough juice. I can unplug it and move the camera over here. If it beeps, I'll plug it back in and move it. But so hi, how you doing? Show my beard off. Put that further away from me. Oh, just past the 20. So, but anyway, there are a lot of folks who are trying to pump stuff literally down our throat. And visually speaking, was sending you prayers. Thank you very much, Richard. I could tell. Having been able to talk with folks in the hospital and the different people and stuff, and talking about different things, and and then getting to watch the news and listening to some other folks, and and you go, where do some of these people come up with some of this dumbass stuff? You know, like those puffers are gonna ruin the atmosphere. When you inhale them, read the instructions. But so it's the idiot people that get convinced somehow. Studies show that Breztri inhalers are bad for the environment. We here at CNN have determined, because there was a study, that there are millions of these contraptions that Breztri commercials on the internet and so forth, and you can read the instructions. These things are causing the ozone layer to have disappeared. And all of the people who have asthma and COPD, they need to learn how to breathe better. But these things will kill you. They're going to kill us all. And we here at CNN and NNN, we know because somebody conducted a study. Hey, Joe. Yeah. Joe. Yeah. Where'd you get that study? I don't know. Heard it on the radio. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, we heard the study. Phooey. They said that drinking too much coffee was going to kill me. I don't have coffee with me at the moment, but nope. Sorry. Well, Dave, you should have been taking these vitamins over here. Why? Well, because if you take these vitamins, you'll live longer. Okay, how old are you? 47. And how old am I? 72. You take them to see if you live longer. And if you catch up with me, then we'll have a discussion. But you have to take this in order to live longer. I didn't do none of it. I did some vitamins, vitamin supplements. That's what I've done. And I've tried my best to eat healthy. I do not fry bacon up every morning and use no. Gave that up years ago. It killed my pops, and I decided I'm not doing it. So instead of fried foods, I boiled and baked and found other ways to cook. So, but Dave, you've got to take these supplements. They'll make you feel better. I feel all right now. This was back when they were trying to sell me this stuff, right? You got to have these things to help you live longer. Well, you died and I'm still here. I'm sorry, this person that I'm thinking of passed away in 60, at 60. It didn't make it to 65. I'm 73, still here, still ain't taking the supplement that he was taking, right? So here's my thing about taking supplements. There are so many things that help. Now, there are things, that folks who have not lived healthy lives. They really do need to clean out their systems. Me, I've lived down here on the farm. I know where my water comes from. I know where stuff, I planned it this way. So the folks who live in the city and who get water and things and stuff, and they live in climates, I know that these folks have, because I lived in those conditions and I moved out. Um, and I've had to go and live in the city periodically at times in different towns and cities. So I have seen it from different points of view, like I don't live here all the time, but I see where y'all got a pollution problem over here, or, the factory smells, or, um, and like in Wayne County over there in Jessup, half of the people over there developed a certain kind of cancer, and it was because of the mill that was running over there was um, doing some deep water drilling or some kind of shit, and putting their wastewater down deep, and it because Wayne County over there is like about 10 feet above sea level. Jessup is. Um, it got into the groundwater, and half the people in the county got sick with cancer, including a friend of mine who told me this and how they got it, found it, and all that kind of stuff. But so you can be minding your own business, and somebody 20 miles away can be putting something in the ground and messing you up. So, got to be careful with stuff like that, right? But they're trying to sell us a bill of goods. You got to take this supplement, Dave. You got to live this particular way, Dave. Everybody else has got to live this way. All of the little towns you go to, they're all going to look the same. All the little storefronts are all going to look the same. Why? So you'll feel at home. So you'll feel comfortable. No matter where you go, the 7-Elevens all look like 7-Elevens. Okay. The sign looks like a 7-Eleven sign. Okay. That's iconic, you know, but like the Cracker Barrel thing, right? Why in the hell would they want to change anything about the Cracker Barrel thing, right? Because they've got some insane beautician person in there that wants to do oh God, please, cut it out. There's a reason people go to Cracker Barrel. Don't mess with it. If you want to increase your sales, build another restaurant. Pick a spot and build another restaurant. Duh, that's how Dollar General's making a gabillion dollars. They build another store. I bitch about Dollar General, but their products are pretty damn good. Been surviving on them for a while. I don't have to go to Walmart and go through all the crap. I can go 8 miles and go to the store rather than 15 miles and have to go through all the hassle of a bunch of people and stuff. No, I can go to the Dollar General and get everything I need. Well, mostly. If I want a steak, I go to the IGA next door. I shop local. Yep. And I've got within 15 miles, well, there's 9 miles to Coolidge, 7 miles to Meigs, and 12 miles down to Highway 19, where they just built a brand new one, a brand new store. And the one in Coolidge is only a couple of years old. The one in Meigs is the oldest. It's 10, 11 years old ish, at least. So, and possibly older. I'm just saying at least. So, listening to people gripe about the Dollar General. Years ago, I saw them build a new one. It might have been the one in Meg's. And I went, if Dave had any money to spare, I'd buy stock in Dollar General. Why? Because they're going up. And since that time, their business has grown, grown down in Florida, all around here. I mean, you can't, folks are complaining, but you can go in there and it's sort of like a 7-Eleven. You can go in and get a drink, you can get some chips. You don't have to buy groceries, you know, but you can get a can of dog food while you're there, which I need to pick up a bag of dog food Monday. But to the point. So, but everything has to look the same. So even the new Dollar General is slightly different. Still maintained its Dollar General decorum, but the brick front is different, and the signage was different, still yellow and black, and but I was like, oh, so they're not all exactly the same. The one in Coolidge has a different storefront to it. The one in Meg's has a different storefront to it. This one, new one down there, has got a different storefront to it. Slight different, it's still just a storefront, but they're not the same. So kudos for the folks at Dollar General for, even though the changes are slight, they're not all the same. The interiors are similar, but they're not all the same. So it's like, well, I went in this Dollar General in Moultrie, and and the counter was like over here in the middle. And then I went to the one down on 19, and the counter was around over here. You had to go around through this maze of stuff to get to the damn counter. And okay, so why am I saying that? It's because somebody with Dollar General, they want to make things similar for people, but not copy everything the same in every store. And I'm applauding them, because Walmart stores, they all look the freaking same. Okay, well, wait a minute now. You go into one in Thomasville, and the sporting goods is on the left hand side of the building. You go into the Moultrie one, and the sporting goods and the garden center is on the right side of the building. So, but it's basically the same, but just flipped. But they're the same. Convincing everybody everywhere that is what we want. We we want the sameness everywhere we go. That's what they're trying to convince us of. Oh, look, the Pizza Hut's the same. Okay. But when the Pizza Hut starts to look like all the other buildings in a row, that's where the problem starts coming in. Because now the Pizza Hut is blended into the storefront along with, oh, there's a donut shop in there. I didn't know that. Oh, and there's a finance store, and then there's an empty slot. There's a business, and then there's and so let's go watch the fights at the Waffle House. Yeah, we always call them the Awful House. And oh, and it is Saturday night. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money because I just got paid. I need someone to talk to. I'm in an awful way. Bum, 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 bum. Yep. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money because I just got. Anyway. So, but yeah. Uh, and used to sit at, would go in there a lot of times drunk myself, trying to sober up. And back in the day, I didn't drink coffee, I drank tea. So I'd get hot water in a tea bag and I'd sit there and my head would be swirling, trying to look out the window. And then there'd be a whole bunch of drunk people come in. Holy shit. I'm thinking of a particular one in Thomasville. Lord have mercy, them drunk people. Let me spell this out to you. DRUNK, drunk people. Did I say drunk? I meant drunk people. Oh boy. Redneck drunk people. Uh-oh. Smart ass redneck drunk people. Uh, belligerent smart ass redneck drunk people. What was that? I missed it. Yeah, it's Sunday morning here too, Richard. What did you say? Scuttered drunk? Oh, I like that word. Scuttered? Is that like scuttlebutt or scuttered? Oh man, I've not heard that term. Scuttered drunk. English term. Oh, I love it. I love it, Richard. I do, man. Scuttered drunk. Oh, you, my friend, has scuttered drunk. Don't piss me off now. Go on your way, lad. I'll be scuttered drunk if you don't lie. So the thing about this video is I just wanted to have something to chat about. Um, but there are so many things that, it's like, here, this is what's wrong with America. Or no, you can't do this, or this is gonna kill us all. Or, what about this over here? Or and then in thinking about it the last couple of days, I'm like, I I, I gotta use them, right? I try to avoid them, but I know the discussion with my pulmonary doctor was like, Mr. No, yes, sir. Mr. No, yes, sir. Mr. No, it's a good thing that you like to breathe, right? Well, hell yeah. Well, you've got COPD. Well, I know that's what it says on my chart. No, sir, you have COPD. Okay. I know. You keep telling me that. Or actually my pulmonary doctor had just started telling me that. But all the other folks and the nurses and everybody else, no, sir, really, you have COPD, and you really need to use these inhalers twice a day because the things that are in it are going to help keep your lung open, the pores open in your lungs, so that you can get the oxygen that you need. Do you have a shortness of breath, Mister No? Yes, sir. Do you find yourself wheezing and yes, sir? You have COPD. Well, I thought that shortness of breath was my heart, and they put a stent in. That's part of the pulmonary system. Listen carefully, y'all, Richard. But that if the lungs don't have all the little pores open, if the lungs are not collecting enough oxygen to send to the blood, which is brought to you by one side of the heart that pulls it in, pulmonary, it pulls it in, draws it into the heart, and then it shoots it out the other side, the other chamber of the heart. Boom, 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 boom. Well, I'll be son of a gun. So I've only been using them in case of, no, Mr. No, you have COPD. You need to take them twice a day, just like all your other meds. Yes, sir, doc. Well, while I was in the hospital, they gave me 4 treatments. I'm sorry. They gave me a breathing treatment every 4 hours. Put the mask on. Oops. One of these. And I mix in my little chemicals right in there and turn on the machine, and I breathe it in until the liquid's gone, right? At least twice a day. If I was doing it per hospital, I should be doing this every 4 hours for my COPD. Now my oxygen content is good, so I don't need I don't need oxygen. But whatever that stuff is to help keep your lungs, to help you keep breathing, because I have COPD. Now, are the folks who are picking on the puffers, have they seen how much gas one of these things makes? you know, you're gonna bitch about the puffer that goes directly in your mouth and is huffed into your lungs to be absorbed. So there's very little, if any, residual that comes out. Do you use a machine like that to sleep? No, I tried that. No, I think they're stupid. Now there are people who wear them and they're like, oh man, and they wake up in the morning feeling great. Not me. That crap on my face and trying to breathe and trying to turn over and stuff like that. Fudge that stuff. I couldn't sleep because of the mask. And then and back when I first got the mask, um, they had just come out, and I could tell after a week to 10 days that the hose was starting to smell skanky. I can't sleep without it now. I struggled with it to the beginning. So you use one and it helps you. I'm good. I'm glad. Um, my friend who has been in the hospital for, I've talked about, who had a crazy bout. Great, Richard. I found that how I slept makes a difference, and whether or not I could get to REM sleep. I found out that my sinuses were part of my issue. So, with clear sinuses, so that I could breathe, I didn't want it, and it started off uncomfortable. Now you can't live without it, right? Well, Richard, in a way, that's sort of where I'm going with this. In a way, for me, uncomfortable, could not get do not want to get used to it. I mean, now I can wear um, my mask for my treatments. That it doesn't bother me, but that's only for 10 to 15 minutes, short duration, and I can lift it and move it or whatever. And I'm not trying to sleep, but so I found out that clearing my sinuses and I had a tendency to want to scrunch up and sleep. So make myself lie on my back, make myself, if I'm going to lay on my side, that I've got a good support, so that my airway and everything's clear. Um, and I've been operated on my neck 3 times, right? So very stiff neck, and my arms will go numb like that. Oops, there it goes. you know. And so I have to elevate my neck just right, you know. And I actually have found this $5 pillow at Dollar General to be very comfortable. And I got 4 of them. There's 2 of them over on the bed, and I pick one, and boom, and I can get just the right amount of stiffness to hold my nappy head up. And I've tried other pillows and stuff, but I bought these as a whim, and they were purty, and they were $5. I got 4 of them for $20, and I was looking at these other pillows, and they were like $12 a piece. And I was only going to get 2 of them, and actually less. But anyway, um, but I changed my sleeping habit, and I don't curl up in a ball anymore unless it's cold and me and Doug are snuggled or something. But you know, I try to stay straight, keep my airways open. When I was during that show I was in, um, I was a co-lead and singing and a little bit of dancing, and it was all about Vikings, right? Vikings, we are Vikings, we are Vikings today. We are Vikings, we are Vikings, we are Vikings today. That was really the song, how it started out. Anyway. Okay, that's enough of that. But there's still some in that bowl. I haven't finished it. And I'll wait till another time. When 20 comes around, I might take a hit. But so as far as the breathing thing, they convinced me, and I told one of the nurses at the hospital. She goes, "Well, have you tried, the mask and sleeping and everything?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, well, you should send you off and they can do a sleep study on you. Oh, Miss Katniss, how are you? Big old giant cosmic hugs to you, darling. Damn it, Richard. I forgot that word. I have to write it down. A squattering, a scattering, a scoot. What was that word? Type it back in for me, will you? Oh, you did. Oh, scuttered. 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 I got to write it down. Scuttered. Also, since I have, um, some of you old crew here, I was looking at my stats today, which I don't normally do, your YouTube for the month stats, and curious about how many subscribers are there actually on the channel. Good God Almighty. And it was like, because I saw that I got 2 or 3 new subscribers for this month. Hi, love you all. And you got to be crazy to subscribe, but I was like, there's 900 even. I got 900 of you lovely people who have subscribed to Crazy Dave's. And, I was like, 900? Holy crap, man. 900? I've been doing this at least 9 years. And so that's like maybe 100 a year or so, or actually less. But, and you know me, I don't ever ask you to share or like a video. Y'all do it on your own. But the fact that folks, I pick up 2 or 3 every month, all along the way, and at the present moment, it's 900 of you, and I was like, "Whoa, dude! I'm impressed. I really am. I'm impressed." And it's folks like you, Um, it, I know it's a crazy, time of day that I'm doing this. And I know that there are folks who tell me, like Witchman will tell me, if I pull one of these middle of the nighters, she'll wake up and listen and drink, have her coffee, right? And Teresa has told me that there are times when she'll, will listen in the mornings. And so it's like, and I love you all, I do. So, and but doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time, well, it's actually Central Time, U.S. time. Um, I don't set my clocks ahead or back. English Irish term for what? Last night I went out on a night on the town and came home absolutely scuttered. Oh, I like it. Scuttered. Me and the boys went out and we both got scuttered, right? Have you ever never heard of the term? See, Richard, you're just a storehouse of knowledge over there. That's what I like, man. We all get together and share stuff. I had to write that down. Scuttered. So, could it be used with? Is it used only with in relationship to alcohol? You couldn't use it like I went to the pizza parlor, the all you can eat, and I came home scuttered. But it would refer to the beer you drank at the pizza parlor, not the pizza. Overindulgent drugs or drink. Okay, I know that's what I'm thinking, but you know me, I'm trying. I was wondering, I'd use that word in another way, just to piss people off. You know me, just for the hell of it. Oh, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Now there was 10 cigarettes in here, and I'm down to 8, and it's going to be 7. It's been how many hours? It's been an hour and 46 minutes that I've been chatting with y'all, and it's been at least an hour since I had one of these, so that's 3 hours. It's in the middle of the night, you know. Um, this is usually when I smoke a couple. So made a joint. What? Make a joint and make the smoke last. Drink mostly, or a druggie that was out of his nut. Yeah, okie doke. Hey, Richard. Hey, Richard. Um, I know you. Wasn't it you that offered that if I came over there, you'd show me around? Was that true? Because there's been some since I got the stent in my heart, and I can breathe better, and I'm still going to be crippled in my back. I'm just going to have. That's just going to have to work its way out. Some days are going to be bad, and some days are going to be great. So, um, but I feel like that since everything looks pretty good, I don't have any cancers or anything like that, and if I maintain my basic lifestyle, um, that I should not get anything to upset the apple cart. You know, I moved to a single room apartment. I would absolutely show you around. Okay. Well, in that, it's like I could go to Atlanta, for example, get on a plane, probably have to go up to New York or somewhere up yonder to get a connector that goes overseas. Um, outside of London, about an hour drive to Brent's Cross. Um, no, the I'm having dreams of that I need to go on a trip, and it's like, well, I would love to go to Egypt, for example, and maybe, buy into or onto one of the trips where they're going and everything, but I couldn't keep up. And I can't get my electric cart on a plane. I don't think. I'd have to check into that. I guess if you were in a wheelchair, they have to accommodate. And if I rode on one of those, all they'd have to do is just put me in an area and I'd strap myself in. I won. I would say if you come to England, make sure what you visit Cornwall. I would avoid the hustle. And no, I don't want to. I would go to London to see the London Bridge because, architecturally speaking, kind of thing, and London Bridge is falling down. I mean, and to ride by and wave, but that's about it. I might want to stop and 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 get out, you know, maybe sit and have lunch and just look at the bridge or whatever, But as far as being London, no, no. What I would like to do is see all the places. What I would like to see now, I'd like to ride a train because we don't do those kinds of things around here, right? Now, up in New York City, they got the subway and all, but um, I don't think Atlanta's put in any kind of subway yet. But so the experience of riding a train because of what my British friend for 20 years would tell me, you know. She'd say, "Oh, love, you could take a train anywhere. Oh, all you need is, and I'm like, oh, so that would be one of those things that I would like to do because of the memory that and what she talked about. 20 minutes, what? 20 minutes is quick or quid? Quick. And see, and I would only go because as an engineer, I would love to see London Bridge and maybe one or two other items, and that'd be that. Um, but I would much rather, there's too much history in the well, would could I could spend a day just in and around, and because I can't walk real fast, I'd have to stop and rest a bunch. But Stonehenge and some of the other places, some of the old castles. Take me to an old castle, or a young castle. I don't care. you know, uh, yeah. Let's see. London. Drive in, have lunch, look at the thing, look at the tower, look at this thing. Yeah, okay, and that'd be that. But yeah, take me to the country. You know, take me to the country. That's what. And see, and you local folks, the local stuff. You know, like if somebody, like me, ask somebody that's been here for 45 years. Um, and been on the river and been in the area and had traveled around as a kid on a carnival. Well, as an adult too, but I mean, so yeah. Um, Ask me about South Georgia, you know, or and or North Florida. More South Georgia than North Florida, but no, it would the way things are going. If I It would take me at least a year to save up the money. But now that I got the stent in my heart, because that's been holding me up the last 3 years, I wasn't going to plan anything the way my heart was acting and how that situation was going. Now, 15 days out of the hospital, having watched him put the stent in, um, seeing the results, I'm feeling the results. Um, I just need to be a good boy. I used to smoke cigars. I don't anymore. But smoking a cigar, you can't inhale them some bitches anyway. But but sitting down and just poking on a cigar, you know. Um, and I used to have a Gandalf pipe. I think it's upstairs. It's sort of like a Sherlock Holmes pipe, you know. Oh, Watson, the game is afoot. Actually, it's a leg there. You know, the game is afoot. It's a leg, Watson. It's a leg. The game is a leg. No, the game is a foot. That's the Natural History Museum. The one with the big dinosaur. Wait. Oh, y'all are chatting. British Museum. Oh, now to go to the British Museum. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because the British Museum has probably gotten well, they sent some back, but at one time the British Museum had a better collection of Egyptian stuff than Egypt. You know, so and years ago went to Jacksonville, Florida, and it was one of the cities that sponsored the Ramses II display, and they brought it into Jacksonville, and it's about 200 miles to Jacksonville from here. So went over and got tickets, went in, spent the night, came back. But oh my God, it was well worth it. Never get to Egypt, but boy howdy, that that Ramses II was something else. You have the what? The Imperial War Museum. Oh, that would be cool. The Science Museum. The what? I'd probably have to rent a wheelchair to really get around. But oh man, that would two war museum. Yeah, but now that my heart's fixed and everything, I actually saw a lot of my insides, 2 Fridays ago. So it's like, So I was like, my back's already screwed up. It's had work done on it. I don't think there's anything else to be done. I'm going to have to work out this muscle thing. I'm still having tremendous issues 3 years later, going on 4. Or is it 4 years? It's been a while. So, but anyway, so um, I can walk if my back's not too bad. So it's not that there's nothing wrong with my legs. But I can walk along and everything's groovy. Then the pain sets in, and it'll take me down. Take me down to the city where the blacks are blue and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? And never mind. Um, so, but someone asked me a question the other day, and I'd already thought about this when Brian was alive, years and years and years ago, right? To come travel and to see some of you people, you know, and just come and visit, you know, have tea and crumpets, whatever. Um, and try a local cuisine. When I tried real Mexican food, not Tex-Mex, um, cooked by my dear friend, you know. She had cancer. Serge died several years ago. Um, I know she was younger than him, but Patricia, um, if you're still living, I love you, girl. Um, could cook. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. But she showed me what real Mexican food was like, and I couldn't name anything. But when she made it, Dave would sit down to eat. Let me wash my hands, you know. I put on my bib right here, you know, and so um, she loved me because I was Serge's, her husband's best friend, and we'd sit and chat and would teach her English, and she was trying to teach me Spanish, Mexican Spanish, and I'm bad. I don't do well, you know, and I have to be consistent. That's my thing. Um, if I was around somebody all the time, when I was around little Mexican Joe, when I was in the jailhouse, you know, picked up words and I could speak some Spanish with him, you know, and but then I can't remember none of that now. And I took a year of Spanish in school. Oh, there's a 20. Ooh, and the cigarette went out. So, but anyway, about the travel thing. So, um, I was looking at the map earlier today, looking for rain showers in the area, and my the map scrolled to the left, and I was like, you know, I know people are in Texas. Um, I know somebody in Louisiana. I think there's somebody that's in well Pensacola, so that's near Mobile and that area. Um, I know folks in Tennessee. Um, I think Michelle is in Indiana. Um, our friend Steve is out west in Kansas, I believe. Then there's my friend and yours. You know, Mr. Bart. Oops, what? I missed. It stops. John, they gave me a worker who didn't speak English, so I would talk to him in German. I know what is match Mason Spanish air show. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if I can pull it off or not. Um, but here's the thing. I think I could pull off getting on an airplane. I could get to London. I could. I think I could do that. Even because I wouldn't be packing much. You know, my biggest thing would be being able to walk through um, the terminal and everything. But if I did the wheelchair thing, which would not be a lie, you know, um, I'm sad to say that, you know, I'm not totally crippled. I can get up and walk 10 feet around the wheelchair, but I'm going to have to get back in it, you know. So um, some folks would say, well, he's just trying to take advantage of a situation. No, I can't walk long distances, period. You know, I can stand, I can move around, but I'm going to have to sit back down. That's just it. You know, I have to live with that. I thought, no, I'm hoping to get better still. I ain't giving up. Um, but so I want to go out and spend some time in Missouri and try to get a little fishing in, you know. But then when I'm out there, I'm like, who else is in the neighborhood that I could drive to, especially now that I got the Jeep? You know, could I go visit somebody that's, 100 miles over here, you know, with a side trip for a day or something, So that's what I'm looking at. My destination is to go see Barry, right? And so, is there anybody along the way? You know, we make people from the eat fish and chips at the airport before they are allowed to enter the UK. Well, see, I had a dear friend of mine, um, a tall, lanky. Um, I don't know if I don't think she was from London, but she was damn show English. I think she's still alive. Actually, Susie Q's in Illinois. Yeah, well, I got a friend of mine. Depending on where he's at, he travels between Illinois and Florida, and we've been friends for 50 years. And every few years we bump into each other. He called me and wished me happy birthday. His birthday's around this time, or both Libras. But so yeah, if I was, and my family's in Ohio, and there are they're north of Dayton and north of Columbus, in the Bell Fountain area. Um, but so I was like, I could go up and across and visit with them, and then, anybody, I could see my niece and her husband on the way back south through Tennessee. Um, and who else can I visit along the way? Um, because at this point, I'm going to be able to. I will be able to bring Duggar. I will bring my camping gear, so I won't have to worry about staying in a motel. We can let the seat down in the back of the Jeep. I'm going to have to practice that, but I know how to, lift up the back and the um, if I were if I bring the um, the scooter, it'll be on the back, but there's the lift that's on the back anyway. Now the lift can come off, and it might be that if I don't bring the scooter on the trip, um, lift up the hatchback and sleep out the back. You know, used to do it in the truck all the time, so not an issue. Find a park, find some place to pull off. There are places in Arkansas that I have been to camping that I would love to go back and visit again. So going to the Ozarks and going to see Barry is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but what else can I see along the way? I think it's Pleasant Point in Louisiana that is like this huge Indian complex. And so if I'm going west, and it's sort of on the way. And I can go a different route, and I'm not sure if it's Pleasant Point, but it's a huge Native American, old monolithic kind of thing in northern Louisiana. Well, Louisiana is south of Arkansas. You can go up and, and then you get to Missouri. Um, but I've watched two specials, archaeology things about the mounds. Is there anything strange, any things or places around your town and area? And whispering, where at in Texas? Texas is a big ass place. I've been across Texas twice. Twice? Parts of Texas. You in West Texas. Towards Arizona? Oh, close to Houston. Well, that's sort of south, ain't it? Wait, there's two of yous. Oh, that's John. And Chloe's in Central Texas. Well, see, have to do a Texas round. Oh, New Mexico's first. Anywhere near Carlsbad Caverns? Yeah, but there's certain places in the world that my spirit seems to be drawn to. But before, um, I was too cranky, crotchety. I still don't have any money. Um, but I know the value of saving. And with a little bit of luck and maybe um, I purchased a boat to help somebody out. I don't like the boat. So it's worth $1,000. So I fix up the boat and sell it. I got $1,000. I just haven't put forth any effort because it's paid for, and I don't desperately need the money. But to go on a trip, because I got other boats. I got my canoe and I got my 3 kayaks. I got other boats. So besides that, it'd be nice to have $1,000, you know, and get rid of the boat too. Actually, I'm closer to Mexico. Oh, down the plant that I worked for moved to Nogales, and and there was another town, Metamoros. I'd have to look at a map. But anyway, um, when I was out west, being out west was interesting. Um, and for the experience, I'd like to, before we were in a hurry and had to just kind of just drive through, you know, stop along the way, spend an hour, get back in, drive some more, stop along the way, get out for an hour, So roll down the window and look, but not really get a chance to visit. So um, I had a friend of mine. I don't know if he's still living or not, but he lived up in the Panhandle, up in the northwest, the part that sticks up there at Kansas and whatever that state is over there. Um, but he was like, "Oh yeah," he was telling me stories about stuff, and I'm like, "Well, man, one of these days we should ride out there, go back to some of your old diggings out there and show me some of them places that because it's like around here. I know where there is a quarry, right? And have to know where gravel road is, and you have to know certain things. And I know where Climax Cave is. I know where there are certain things around here. I know them because I've lived here. So anybody that's lived in an area for a while, they know where hidden stuff is. That's what I want to do. I want to go visit and say, okay, show me the cool stuff in your neighborhood. You know. Now sometimes the neighborhood is 100 miles away, but it's like I live in South Georgia. There's some cool stuff south of me in Florida. You know, and then there's over in Alabama. There's some cool stuff. Which is to the west of me. So there's some cool stuff in the area. Um, Colomoki Mounds is about 50 miles, 60 miles. And now that I've had my heart worked on, it is a state park. I think you can camp overnight with the dog. Have to be on a leash and all that. Um, but I've been wanting to go over to Colomoki and do a video. Go into the museum there. Um, I will absolutely take my motorized vehicle because I could not walk it now. But there's some open areas, some really cool spots. I would absolutely walk up to the top of the mound um, and show what it looks like from up there. One night I was up there with a friend of mine, and we had stayed till you're not supposed to be on the mound after sunset. Well, we stayed up there till after sunset and then came down because being up there watching the sunset in the west and the position of where the top of the mound is, and at the time there was I think it was Mercury and one other and Jupiter, I think, were in an alignment, and the moon was there at the same time. So we sat up on top of the mound, watched the sun go down, and watched the moon as a crescent, and then the planet sitting there. It was cool as hell. Somewhere I've got pictures of that. Uh, the alignment and everything, best we could get with our cameras. But so I want to go back to Colomoki. But anyway, so back to my basic thing about why does everybody think everything has to look the same? You know, why does the packaging all have to be glittery? Why can't you just put it in a brown paper bag and hand it to me? You know, um, I've had a couple of items here recently, and the packaging was outlandish. Great big pieces of plastic, and the items were like this big. But there's all this picture and stuff around it, and to hang in there in the store, and but oh my god, so I think we as a society can do better because there was just all that waste, you know, that's won't even fit in my garbage can sitting here, right? So we as a society need to do better, and but they keep trying to push it that, oh, no, 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 we still like big and flashy. No, not necessarily. You know, we just like stuff to be packaged correctly, with a nice picture on the outside, maybe, or maybe a cellophane view so you can see what's inside. But some of this huge plastic stuff and packaging is just ridiculous. And I've been to the local landfill, and it's like, it's okay. It's okay. Just put it in the garbage can up at the top of the hill, pay your $12.50 every month. Um, and um, we'll take care of it for you. It'll just disappear. Well, I don't have very much garbage, but I've been to the landfill in Colquitt County and Thomas County, and it used to be a hole in the ground. It used to be a hole in the ground. They dug out a big old ass pit. They lined it with rubber because they didn't want any toxins or anything to get leach into they did it right. But now that hole is a mound that's bigger than the Colomoki Mound. I mean, because, the big Caterpillar, you know, machines and the dump trucks, and they drive it up on the hill and dump it off, and the hill just gets bigger, bigger, bigger. And they tramp it down and ride it down, and the hill gets bigger with more trash and more shit, more stuff. Oh my God. It's 50 foot tall, you know, some bitch. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, well, out of sight, out of mind. So they want you to see certain things, but they don't tell you about that that pit they dug that was where our trash was going is now a freaking mountain, you know. Um, and Dave, why do you say that? Because we as human beings buy things and throw stuff away. We throw stuff away. Me, I'm a collector of crap, you know. There's stuff all over the place in here, you know. Well, 40 years of collecting, right? But they want us to think that, oh no, and now I've noticed where some places have pictures on the wall, um, commercials, um, other people's homes, people who do live streams from their own house, and it's like I've noticed that, my house is very, very cluttered compared to some of these other folks. They've got just straight white walls. There's maybe a picture. There, don't see a mirror anywhere. Um, there's the TV is on a something or on a dedicated wall. Well, so's mine. It's not a wall, but it's down there. So, but that um maybe it's the fact that I've just been collecting shit for 40 years, but these folks are just like, they just have the bare minimum and they just don't collect stuff. Then watching some of the Japanese, Korean, Chinese, uh, I can't tell the difference yet. But I love to watch some of the movies on Netflix and Tubi and others. But so and watching, and it's like, so you know, they got a room big enough to roll a mat out, and that's where they sleep. And they've got a little corner up in the room where there's an alarm clock and something, and there's a rack for them to hang their clothes on, and that's it. That's it. There's nothing on the wall. There's maybe a window on of one of the four walls, but and I'm like, oh my God, um, this room here is big and airy. Holy crap. But anyway, so seeing how some of the houses are being built down here, and my buddy Rob, who helps take care of me, um, he works for a couple of contractors building these houses. And we've talked about how big they are and how big the rooms are and what the architecture is and so forth. And he's like, some of these places are huge. And there's a family of 3 or 4 moving in, and there's 4 bedrooms, you know. And it's like, well, but they only got 1 or 2 kids. Well, why 4 bedrooms? Well, a big master bedroom, then 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. The 4th is for family, right? But so after 5 years, the kids grow up, they move out, then they're left with these great big houses with all these bedrooms, and nobody's living in it. And they're living in the kitchen and the TV room, and the rest of the house is closed off. And that's sort of how I'm living, but it's a much different area. But um, I am going to get up these stairs, I promise. Um, but what I mean by that is that they want to. Everybody's got to have a house this size. Instead of the kids, bunking up 2 or 3 of them in a room like we did. You know, tough. Get bunk beds. You're just gonna have to squeeze in. That's all. You know, we did a lot of squeezing in over the years with other family members and the Stankos and Carney and you learn to live in small spaces. So there wasn't a lot of stuff on the walls at our house either. We didn't have a lot of things that took up stuff. Me, I got shit all over the place. There's a hawk up there. There's a duck up there. Um, I got deer antlers all over the place and knickknacks and things and stuff. And I got shit all over the place. So for me, um, I'm like a museum. So I don't fit the norm. Where other folks are like, well, we can't have too much. Well, then we'll put it in the garage. Aha. I don't have a garage, so all my shit's in here. But I do have a shed. Um, with the obvious social change that's going. This is where I wanted to go with this. With the obvious social change that's going on right now, we can now speak up and we can say the word fat. My friends, I have gotten fat. And I know a friend of mine that his belly is as big as mine. And together we are both fat. Okay? I can use the word fat. Our Yankee relatives always had a basement, is where we stayed. Yeah, John. Growing up as a kid, I remember the basements up in Ohio, in Dayton, Troy. And I remember the basically the basement was the kitchen and the kitchen and the for being small back then. My brother being in a high chair and um, yeah, so we were just little kids back then, um, little kids. But I remember the basement, and part of the basement had a kitchen table. There's a little stove and a refrigerator over in the corner, and then there was a TV over here and a couch. And so we watched TV and everything down there, and turned the chairs around in the kitchen to, which was just an open area. So um, maybe that's where I got the idea now, because the basement didn't have any walls in it; it was just open. So now I'm sitting in my house and it's open all the way to the ceiling here. Um, it's open all the way over to the bay windows in the kitchen and through there to where can see the edge of the refrigerator. You can see all the way back here. It's all open. Maybe it's because of that basement feeling. um, my biggest thing about having open space was being in jail. When I got out of jail, I said, I am not going to build a house with 8 by 10 rooms that are sheetrocked and I'm no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to open up, have open air and see through and I studied a bunch of architecture and this is what I got. So I have tried to encourage for folks over the years to not follow the norm. Pick something that's different. Are you sure you're going to need 3,000 square feet in a house? And are you sure you want to buy a house? I'm sorry, but are you sure you want to spend $650,000 on a home in a neighborhood? I'm thinking of a particular relative at the moment. And when I was like, holy mackerel. But anyway, so we got out of the norm of people having their own homes. But then we got out of the norm of, well, if you have a home, then you got to have a garage. And of course, if you can, you got to have a swimming pool, right? If you're going to buy a home these days, you want to buy one with a swim. If you're going to invest money, uh, I want a basement because of the tornadoes. Oh yeah. Well, see, my house is built up right back over here. Um, I have a concrete wall that's filled with cement, and oh crap. There we go. I think I got it. Um, there is a crap load of cement in my bathroom. There is a hot tub that has not been used in 15 years. And that I need to clean out and fix it up and make it work. Whereas water has been my biggest issue, but I need to rethink some things. I I have some. I have 1,000 gallons of rainwater out here. Um, I need to figure out how to pump in and use it and recycle it. But anyway, um, so I don't I don't have um, a basement because you can't dig very far down right here where this is because you'd have water and pretty quick. Now, right now it's dry, but during the normal season, I have you dig in with a pair of post hole diggers, you get about yay deep, and there's going to be some water. So, a basement's out of the question. I could have built on the hill, and I did try to build um, a cellar, a root cellar. I even used dynamite. But if I had the use of a excavator, I could dig a hole up here on this clay hill at the top of the hill and have me a bunker. You know, not quite sure what I'd cover it with, but it would be in the ground and it would be up on the hill enough to where it'd be well drained. But Lord have mercy, it'd be a bunker. Oh, because it's solid clay. It's solid red Georgia clay. So, yeah, I don't want to say it too loud, but come and get me, you know. And where the old roadbed is up here at the top of the hill, um, there's a place where I was digging into the side of the hill, and that if I ever needed to, I realized all I needed to do was just go up there and get in a ditch because it's down low. I'd be up against Mother Earth, and but I've had two tornadoes go over my house since I've lived here. Twice them tornadoes have tore down my neighbor's barn. I've survived. I don't know if it'll happen again, but I know that I've been through a dozen hurricanes, several of them, just 20 miles from the eye of the hurricane kind of strength. I've had water flow through the house. It flooded so bad. Survived it all and only had one broken window in all that time. So the placement of the house and the style, it's a pole barn. And since it's a pole barn, the wind has shook this house so hard. But that pole over there and that pole right there, and there's a pole right there, and it has a tendency to give and wiggle. And after building the house this way, I've watched how the Chinese have built their big shrines and things, and they don't use any nails, and everything fits together, and and they have taken um, and they made a model of this one and put it on an earthquake machine and turned it on high, and that thing just rattled all over the place and did not fall, did not come apart, and all the scientists standing around it were going, "Holy crap!" And so, no wonder the Chinese have been building these structures in this manner for thousands of years. Earthquake zone, no problem. My house ain't going to fall down because we built it in such a way that, the joints move, give, sway. And my house, being a pole barn style, and the way I've got it laid out, any bad storms or anything, I have felt it and actually seen it wiggle, during Hurricane Michael. So, how you build your structure has a lot to do with whether or not you survive a storm. But if you're in a conventional house or a trailer or something like that, and you're in tornado alley, you got to be able to get in the ditch. Oh, that's right. Was watching a redneck and say, "How do you know I lived in a trailer park, man?" say, when a tornado come, everybody say they go into the basement. Well, we lived in a trailer park. Well, and they'd call out and say, if you don't have a basement, go to an interior room of your home. And if you're in a trailer, run and go get in the ditch. But I remember living in a trailer in Tampa, um, a month before I moved up here. And a hurricane went through, which brought some tornadoes, and the trailer we were in, it was tied down well. But on the other side of the road, not so much. There was an old trailer park that just got demolished. I mean, it was just stuff. It was walls and paper and clothing and just stuff strewn all over this where this trailer park used to be. And it's like, what? I mean, across the road. Holy crap. Yeah, I want to move out of here. Then I move up here, and there'd been more tornadoes up here than there was down there. But have survived them all. But yeah, out yonder where it's open and everything, find a ditch or dig one. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be a big one either. A scene where they got these igloo looking things, for dogs. And that somebody took a large one of those, and put it halfway in the ground. And it was just for storms. And family could get in there and line around the wall, you know, um, and one in the middle. And it was enough for 6 or 7 people, which was more than their family. But, and it did not cost them very much. So, yeah, I thought about putting one of them up there on the hill, but then there's the ditch. If I'm just going to be going in it just to get away from a tornado, I'm just going to use the ditch. If I had an excavator, I'd dig me a hole. So, what about all this stuff? Everything needs to be the same. Our thinking needs to be the same. Now, folks are, they're telling fat jokes again. You know, uh, was watching where I can't believe there are people on YouTube who react to stuff. They watch things. And so I've been watching those folks who have watched things for the first time. And there's one black woman, God bless her. She was so funny, so good. And something went off. It was Rodney Dangerfield. And she was like, what? And she had never heard of Rodney Dangerfield. And I was like, man. So, and they're showing some of the old Johnny Carson. And some of these folks are watching them for the first time. And I'm like, man, this is what I grew up on. But anyway, so now, everything's got to be the same. Jimmy Kimmel and the other guy. And some of the stuff that I can't remember which one's which. It's just horrible. I mean, talk about propaganda. And some of the stuff that, is supposed to be funny, it's just like, it has become to the point where you have to be perverse to listen to some of these people. I mean, are you serious? You really? That's what you believe? Trump's the cause of the of the shutdown. No, he's not. Neither are the Republicans. Americans have spoken. We are not going to pay for illegals to get health care. No. I'm 73 and retired, and that means they're taking my money. They're taking my health care, my doctors, my hospitals, which have all been very good to me now. But the healthcare issues and how much, and my check every month is determined, by some of this. And when you got a bunch of foreigners, nipping at the teat, the rest of us little piggies, we're from here. We were born on the farm, and you're bringing in little piggies from other places, that ain't from here, gonna suck off the you know, same mama hog, you know, as Southern rednecks would describe it. Sucking off too many teats, you got no. So, hell no. Get them out of the country. I'm sorry. I do think that sometimes they're a little rough, but there are some of these guys who are just gung ho mofos, and they're all they need is one of them guys to say, oh, oh, you motherfucking pig, who do you think you are trying to arrest me? And if you're an illegal and I'm an ICE agent and I have a warrant with your name on it of the things that you've done, and what about they on I-40 going through Tennessee? I've been on that highway a couple of times. They started stopping 18-wheelers. Now they stop them anyway, for weight and so forth, and what's in the back of your truck, and that's a common thing, right? So they stopped 150 trucks, and 140 of them had illegal Mexican drivers who could barely speak English. 140 semi-tractor trailers now, and that the license that they had, one was from New York City, and it was like anonymous, no name, literally no name, where they live, somewhere. Here's your license. Says right on it. No, what? So wait a minute. Now hang on. Those Mexican truck drivers, there are 140 jobs that Americans could do. I mean, even women drive trucks in America, you know. I had an aunt that drove a cab over Peterbilt back in the day. So people want to complain. Should those people who drove them trucks illegally with illegal driver's licenses, should they get free health care because they're from another country? And they should get a piece of my pie that I've been, working hard all my life to pay into the system, to now I'm 73 and I want to collect on them, on the system some, I'm going to get my pie. Well, wait a minute, but you can't, no, can't have all your pie. Why? Well, because we got Mexicans we've been taking care of. What? Not anymore. That's what they passed in the big bill thing. And what the Democrats want is to put it back in, to take care of any illegal healthcare. Now, my friends, I knew Patrice's, my friend who cooked so well from Mexico. She had 3 sisters, big family. And 2 of them sisters each had 2 children each in the time that I knew them. And every time they went to have a child, they brought them, they flew in, stayed with Patrice, had the baby at the local hospital as an immigrant thingy, to the full care, everything, didn't have to pay a dime. After the baby was born, family would come up here and visit, and then they'd all get on planes and fly back to Mexico. 4 children were born here. And they had money, but the facilities here in America are so much better than Mexico. So 4 children born that way. I know so myself. Oh, people bitch, 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 bitch. Oh no, that's what they're talking about. The latch, the this thing about the, just coming in having the babies and automatically they're American citizens. So them 4 children lived in Mexico in the belly of the mamas, came here, they had them, was here long enough to be healthy to fly on an airplane. And a couple of them drove back, but fly on an airplane back. And now they're listed as American citizens. Now, it's been 15 years since that's happened. So 2 boys and 2 girls are still listed as American citizens, and I doubt they can speak English. They're probably still in Mexico. But all of it was paid for by local funds. Not fair. Not fair at all. So, what most folks don't understand is to keep that bill out, leave it alone. What most folks don't understand, I go to the hospital, there are Mexicans in the emergency room. Whether they have insurance or not, they cannot be turned away. Now, as to whether or not they get accepted into the hospital or something like that, but there are, the hospitals by law are not allowed to turn anybody away if they're in an emergency room situation. So, no matter who it is, a homeless person, you can get emergency services. Well, I don't have insurance, don't care. All you have to do, because I do it every year, I go in and sign up for indigent care. And because I'm so poor, and my health insurance through this my retirement only pays so much. I'm supposed to pay the rest. Indigent care picks up the rest. All this heart stuff I just had, I got a bill for $7.35. So far, that's what I've had to pay, other than buying my medicines, which was $28. Anybody, any white person, anybody, any black person, any Mexican, it don't matter, Chinese. If you need to go see a doctor, any emergency room is like that. So they don't need to put money, especially for the Mexicans or any kind of immigrants. Don't have to. Because if they need emergency care, it's already in the system. So the Democrats are barking about shit that they know already exists. Any person can get emergency health care from, if there's a hospital that turns them down, they can file a suit against the hospital. So, don't mean you get a room, don't mean you get extended care, but but then again, if you apply for indigent care like I do every year, anything that I cannot, anything above and beyond my insurance is picked up by the government through the indigent care program. It's already there. So, do they need to shut down the government for this? No, because it's already in the system. It already exists. Putting money in now, are there hospitals that could use extra money? Yes. Are there older hospitals in the country that don't have much staff and people have to drive further to get to the other hospitals? Yes. But some of these places, the population is so thin, to try to have a hospital in that community is very, 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 very difficult. But to have an emergency room situation that was 24/7, that anything, if they can stitch you up, they can even do an x-ray and maybe even set a bone, maybe. But mostly it's for smaller stuff and emergencies. Otherwise, you get shipped by ambulance to the bigger hospital if need be. Otherwise, you sit in the in a room until you're stable enough to go home. There are no patient rooms, so they're trying to get those staffed instead of a full-fledged hospital, which requires a lot more staff and etc. So there need to be changes to the healthcare system, but there are changes that I have seen since I've been in the hospital 4 times, 5 times, 6 times in the last 4 years for different things. Not That's not counting the test I've had done and the X-rays and so forth. But I mean overnight stays and procedures. So yeah, I've been in the Thomasville Hospital 4 times. For the back operation twice, 10 long days there. Um, Went in for uh, the test and then for having my stent put in and having the test. So 4 times in Thomasville, and then heart, rotor rooter, heart, 3 hearts on a rotor rooter. So that's 4 times in Moultrie Hospital. We have good doctors and good nurses, and the people who have decided to go into those professions, everyone that I talked, there was one person that left this bruise on my arm right there. Little black nurse came in about 3 o'clock in the morning and started poking me with needles, and she hurt me, buddy. So and then she just left. So um, 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 oh, there are great changes within the hospital systems with machinery, things that can look inside you, things that can determine what's wrong with you. They don't quite have the med bed thing yet. Um, but some of these machines that I've looked at while sitting in the hospital, wait, waiting to have procedures done, blow your mind, you know? So for me, an old person where you had to get up on a table and you had to do a thing and you had the x-ray machine and this, no, 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 this is just lie down, ping, boom, you're done. What? Yeah, we just took 137 pictures of you and your insides. What? Yeah, in detail and in color. We sliced your body into pieces. And we have 135 pictures of your insides. In a minute? Yeah, and they're already developed, by the way. Can I have copies? That's what my conversation with the tech was. So a lot of things. It's the cost of those things. Okay. How much are the makers of the machine going to charge for the machine? Well, this machine looks inside you. Yeah, that's not what I asked. How many of these machines are you making? Well, we got an order for 100 of them. Okay. And with a potential to sell another 1,000 because hospitals want to upgrade. And this machine is an upgrade. So to make yours look like everybody else's, but here's the thing, the upgrade in medical technology is a damn good thing. But the folks that make the machines and the people who sell them and um, who take care of them are making buku. So the cost of health care could come down if the cost of the machines that perform the health care came down. Because one of the machines is like $1 million. Now, did it really cost $1 million to build it? No. How do I know this? Because I'm an engineer. Would it cost $100,000? Yeah, probably easy. But 1 million? Nah. But that's what they charge the hospital. So you got 3 or 4 machines, you got $3 or 4 million. And so you got to have a lot of patience that's got to have some money to pay for their machines. So if the people who make the machines that are wonderful, they need to cut their cost, just like Trump did today, yesterday, with some of the AstraZeneca. I think one of the big drug companies to slash their drug prices because they're unfair. And the deal is that AstraZeneca sells their products all around the world. So the rest of the world, because they're poor, doesn't pay very much. Well, Americans have been paying 10 times more than their share to help pay for the poor countries. So the deal is no level playing field now. It doesn't matter what country now. Americans are going to pay the same as the poor countries now. That's the deal. We'll see how this works out. But that's what they signed on Friday. So drug companies start playing more fair. The people who make hospital equipment bring the cost down. It won't cost as much then. And my um, Medicare will be able to pay for those things without having to apply for indigent care. But to make everything look the same, everybody's got to have the new $2 million machine. So now you might not see it on the outside, but on the inside of these hospitals. Now, this is not a complaint or a dig about the hospitals now, but it is about the manufacturers of the machines. Because I used to know some folks who worked on those on CT scanners, and they charged out the gadungas. $50 an hour for a person to come and change something on a CT scanner back in the day, and to run a diagnostics, and to upgrade to something, and that by the time they were done, you know, because I used to go with him, that it was $1,000. And Hoyt made good money, and there's nothing wrong with making good money, but he was there for 2 hours, and then the company was charged, the hospital was charged, $1,000. It just seemed, and that was in '84, and that just seemed unfair. But he was like, "Man, I'm making money while I can," and he was doing good work, and it was legit. But that's how much it was costing. So there are people who are making good money. And here's the question: can people who are possibly making $50 an hour cut back and somehow allow some of the lower strands of folks that maybe you could work for $40 an hour? Would it kill you to like work for $35 an hour? I'm just asking, you know. But because I knew some plumbers who were making $50 an hour. It cost $300 to install a toilet in this lady's house. I could do it for 100, you know. Um, just unbelievable. With the toilet back then. So, but to be everything to be the same. Where am I going with this? Everybody's got to make the same amount of money. Everybody has to make $1,000 a day. Everybody's got to have a certain, and well, I'm not going to accept this job if I can't make $500 a day, But I've been to 2 years of technical college, and I I have actually graduated associate's degree. Um, you will now pay me $50 an hour because I have gotten my 2-year degree in um, mechanical drafting on computer, CAD drafting. Well, son, I'll give you a job for $12 an hour. Yeah, but they said, that if I graduated with 2 years of college, that, I could make $50 an hour. Yeah, if you move to Chicago. I don't want to move to Chicago. Well, here's $12 an hour. Take it or leave it. So somewhere along the line, when you complete your 2 years of college, the nurses that I talked with down there, the nurses training that watched my procedure while it was being done. Why are you here? Why do you choose this? Because we love it. It's fascinating. It's always, we can't wait to, what? Okay. We got a good crew of young folks coming up. And so, does everything have to be the same? Does CNN, what is CNN going to come up with next? I'm still on topic. You know, I'm going to have to give up my going to have to give up my inhaler. You know, I'm fixing to do a treatment over here. What about all the fumes that come up with that? You know, what about all of the hot air that CNN puts out, telling a lie that these things are harming the ozone or our atmosphere, the earth? We're all going to die if we stop. Wait a minute. I use this to stay alive, but it's bad for the atmosphere. But I breathe it in. It helps my lungs. I have COPD. They keep telling me, you have COPD, Mr. No. You have COPD, Mr. No. Okay. Well, I love you all. And I'm going to take my breathing treatment and lay down and get some rest. Um, I hope you all have a good Sunday. I wanted to come here and chat about stuff and be here in case somebody else wanted to chat about something. So it's always a treat. 900 subscribers. I can't believe it. You folks are crazy. I love you. I do pray for you. Each and every day, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And if there's anybody awake out there, one of these nights need to tell me where y'all live, and I'm going to put a pin on the map and figure out what my destination could be. Because I'm serious about taking the trip. Um, I was going to take it in my pickup truck, and then my brother died, and then I got the Jeep, and it took every penny I had in order to get the Jeep and pay the insurance. But I'm very willing to sell that boat out there for $1,000 and go on a trip with the Jeep that's now paid for. So I do continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And in this world, we like to be things that need to be the same are things like the procedure to put the stent in my heart. That procedure needs to stay the same. How do you save a person's life? Well, you lay them down on this table, you step them down good, you cover them, and you wash them down, and then you go through the arm like I did here, and they go up inside your arm all the way to your heart, and they look at you with this fluoroscope right into your body, and they take the little things and they insert it and wiggle it around, and there it is. There's only a little hole over here on my arm. Didn't have to cut me open or nothing. Saw the whole thing out the corner of my eyes. I watched them fix my heart. So the things out there are amazing. The people who do these things are amazing. But then there are politicians who yap about stuff, who criticize and want to penalize and penalize and otherwise, wise, because they think they know better and they don't. So from here on the ground, getting ready to go, I'm going to be taking my boat out soon. Now that I'm walking around and breathing better, it ain't going, and the weather's changing. I'm gonna take pictures and maybe a live stream of the whole thing. So I love you, my dear friends. I continue to pray each and every day. It's the law three, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Thank you, Creator, for another day. Take the blessings as they come. If somebody's trying to shoot at you, keep your head down, you know. And my dear friends, I will see you on the flip side. Until next time, adios. Cheers.